Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Crystal, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the best foods to eat in your ovulatory phase. Your ovulatory phase is just like how it sounds. It's when you are ovulating in your cycle. And what happens in your ovulatory phase is your estrogen levels are actually peaking. They're the highest that they're going to be during your cycle, and you're probably feeling really energized, really radiant, super social, like all those things. But a day or two after ovulation, your estrogen levels actually dip, and then progesterone takes over. And the reason why I'm telling you all of this is because it's really, really important to know these things so you can support yourself better. And one of the best ways I think that you can support yourself is eating super nourishing food. So that's why I wanted to make this video. I want to talk about what foods support this phase of your cycle and why. And I've already made 2 other videos on this topic. So if you want to know the best foods to eat when you are in your menstrual phase, check out that video. And if you want to know the best foods to eat when you are in your pre-ovulatory phase, check out that video. But today we're going to be talking about the best foods to eat in your ovulatory phase. And before I get into it, I just want to say that these foods should probably be eaten like all cycle long. Like, I'm not here telling you to only eat these foods in this phase of your cycle. These foods are just really nutrient dense. They're very supportive. I just don't want you to watch this video and think that you're only supposed to eat these foods in certain times of your cycle, and then other times of your cycle you're not supposed to eat them. I'm not about that life. Like, that sounds really restrictive to me. I'm all about adding things into each phase of the cycle. So do what feels right, follow your intuition, eat the foods that make you feel good. These are just foods and just suggestions on things to think about when you're in your ovulatory phase. So that being said, what foods do support the ovulatory phase? So when you are ovulating, like I said, you have really high estrogen levels, but then your estrogen levels kind of dip, and then your progesterone levels take over in your ovulatory phase. And so it's really, really important to support healthy estrogen levels, but to also support healthy progesterone levels. If you watched my video on the pre-ovulatory phase, you know that liver and gut loving foods are like the best way to support your estrogen levels. Your liver is actually how your body metabolizes excess hormones, and your gut is how you, let's just put it lightly, excrete excess hormones. So supporting your gut and your liver is really, really great in helping support healthy estrogen levels. And so you can do this by eating cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage. Those are amazing. They really, really support your liver and your gut. And other foods that are really great are leafy greens, carrots, ground flax seeds, sprouts. All of these foods are so good at helping to support your liver and your gut health because they help support healthy estrogen levels, which is really important during this time in your cycle because your estrogen levels are usually pretty high. Now, a few days after you ovulate, you will experience a dip in estrogen levels as your progesterone levels take over. I don't know if you can hear the crows like cawing, but they're having a really good time over there. Things that help support healthy progesterone levels are foods that are rich in zinc. So adding more zinc-rich foods to your meals is a really great way of just helping to support healthy progesterone levels and just healthy overall hormone levels as well. So foods that are really, really high in zinc are things like hemp hearts, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds. Basically, like, nuts and seeds are really great sources of zinc. Cashews being one of the nuts that's really high in zinc. Oats is another great source of zinc. There's also tempeh, which is just a great source of plant protein anyways. And so these are foods that you can like add to your meals really easily and boost your zinc intake. So with like nuts and seeds, they're super easy to have as a snack. They're super easy to sprinkle on meals. Tempeh is a great protein source. You can add it to your meals separately, you know, marinate it, steam it, however you enjoy it, just get it in. Oats are a great breakfast option, and oats are a really great option because they also stabilize blood sugar levels. Because when you move from your ovulatory phase into your premenstrual phase, that's when your blood sugar levels might not feel as stable as they might have earlier in your cycle. So it's a really good idea to start incorporating foods that really help stabilize your blood sugars. And oats is one of those foods. So you can enjoy sweet oats, you can enjoy savory oats. I'm not here to tell you how to make your oats, just enjoy your oats. Oats are just so good. Another great great thing about oats is that they're actually a complex carb source. So if you get like rolled oats or steel cut oats, that would be considered like a complex carb source. And complex carbs are really important during your ovulatory phase, especially the day or two after you ovulate, because that's when you might notice a dip in your mood and a dip in energy. Not everyone experiences this, but if you're more sensitive to hormone changes, you might have a harder time during this part of your ovulatory phase. So boosting your intake of complex carbohydrates not only can just help satiate you after meals, but it can be really important for your mood. When you have complex carbs, they can actually help boost like serotonin in your brain, which makes you feel a little bit better. So picking foods that have sources of complex carbohydrates is a really great way to support your mood a few days after ovulation if you find that your mood dips. And complex carbohydrates are also really great for energy. So if you find that your mood and your energy levels kind of dip after ovulation, adding like a complex carbohydrate source to your meals is just a great way of helping you feel just like a little bit better. So great sources of complex carbohydrates, like I said, oats is a source, sweet potatoes, whole grains, all those kind of things, great sources of complex carbohydrates. So just make sure that when you make your meals, you're not only including protein and fats, but you're also including like a nice complex carbohydrate source as well. It'll help stabilize your blood sugar levels, it'll help your mood, it'll help your energy levels, which is really important during the end of your ovulatory phase. Something else that I like to add when I'm talking about mood and energy is just thinking about maybe including like B6 rich foods or looking towards B6 supplementation. I'm going to be talking about this more when it comes to like the premenstrual phase and what foods help in that phase. B6 rich foods or like taking a B6 supplement can be really, really helpful if you experience like a mood dip after ovulation, especially if you're really sensitive to hormone fluctuations. If you are struggling at that time of your cycle, enjoying B6 rich foods or looking at supplementation might be another option to look towards as well. Now, the last thing that I like to focus on when I'm in my ovulatory phase is to start adding anti-inflammatory foods back into my diet if I haven't been having them. And this isn't so much to like support the ovulatory phase, but towards the end of your ovulatory phase, adding these foods back in. Foods like ginger and turmeric are really great because they're anti-inflammatory. So if you struggle with like period pain, it's really great to start incorporating these foods sooner in your in your cycle rather than later. This is just something that I like to offer that you can think about. You don't have to necessarily like add these foods right in, but it's just a really great idea to think about. And you know, things like ground flax seeds can be really helpful for alleviating premenstrual symptoms. They're very rich in like omega-3s and lignans, and they're really great at helping with like breast tenderness, but it's always good to have foods like that before you start experiencing those kind of symptoms. So thinking about adding in these kind of foods that are really helpful during menstruation earlier in your cycle, which might be like, you know, at the end of your ovulatory phase, is a really great idea. And I know when you're at the end of your ovulatory phase, thinking about your period is probably like the last thing that you want to be thinking about. But food is medicine. Adding, you know, a little bit of ginger to your meals, having some ginger tea, adding turmeric or taking like turmeric capsules or something like that if you really struggle with period pain. It can be really great to do that like the 10-ish days before your period starts, which is usually like the end of your ovulatory phase. So I just wanted to put that out there. Hopefully you learned a lot in this video. I really, really appreciate you watching. I like to give these suggestions because I think food is super powerful, but I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. So these are just suggestions. Take them or leave them. It's just ideas to kind of help support where you are in your cycle. If there's any other foods that you enjoy eating in your ovulatory phase or that you find really helpful, please let me know in the comments. I really, really appreciate you commenting and letting me know what you think about the videos. I really appreciate you watching. As always, your cycle matters so much, and I'm here for you, and I will see you in the next video.